The defiant attitude of Pax Thien, Angelina Jolie's Vietnamese-born adopted son, has caused a stir online. Recently, Pax became the center of attention when he appeared in Los Angeles. The 20-year-old young man impressed with his white t-shirt paired with wide-legged pants, dark sunglasses, sneakers, and a backpack slung over his shoulder. What particularly caught the eye was the $3,000 off-road electric motorcycle Pax was riding. However, the situation turned serious when Pax did not wear a helmet as required by traffic regulations and performed risky maneuvers while riding. This behavior not only violated traffic laws but also endangered himself and other road users. The online community quickly voiced their reminders and concerns about Pax's irresponsible attitude, calling for him to be more conscious of ensuring safety for himself and others. Comments from netizens flooded social media, reminding Pax Thien about his dangerous behavior. Where's the helmet? Pax is getting too reckless. Riding like that is going to get him into an accident one day. Wearing dark sunglasses without a helmet, looks like Angelina Jolie's son wants to taste the pavement. This isn't the first time he's had a defiant attitude. Anyway, good luck. I'm not Pax's father, but that bike is really dangerous. We lost a family member at 25. He crashed at a turn, going too fast and the bike slipped. Follow the rules to ensure your safety. These reminders not only reflect the community's concern for Pax Thien's behavior but also serve as serious warnings about the potential consequences of reckless actions. Vietnamese boy Pax Thien in his 17 years growing up in Angelina Jolie's family. Pax Thien's birth name is Pham Quang Sang, born in 2003. He was raised at the Tam Binh Orphanage Center in Ho Chi Minh City. At birth, Sang suffered from malnutrition and weighed only 2.1 kilograms. During his 5 years at the orphanage, he was quiet, reserved, and introverted. In 2006, during a visit to Vietnam, Angelina Jolie noticed the young boy. In 2007, she decided to adopt Quang Sang. The boy became the adopted son of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt in March 2007. The actress renamed him Pax Thien Jolie, meaning peaceful sky. Pax Thien's biological mother, Pham Tu Dung, who entrusted him to a new life under Angelina Jolie's care, probably carries an immense sadness like white clouds. Each step Pax takes is tied to a painful past and an emotional story. Around 1995, at the age of 18, Dung became a regular at major nightclubs like Thai Sun and My Man, indulging in alcohol, beer, and drugs. If anyone offended her, she would mercilessly fight them. After these constant brawls, she would make the beaten person buy her coffee the next day to make amends. A group of young troublemakers, all around 20, rented a house in District 3, Ho Chi Minh City, where Dung often stayed instead of returning to her home in Tu Duc. In a few years this group disbanded. Some died from drug overdoses, others from HIV, and the rest were sent to rehab. Dung recalls that she had no worries back then. Her father worked on ocean-going ships, bringing back money and gold to store in their cupboard. Her mother sold goods at the market. Their material life was comfortable. Dung had made a copy of the cupboard key and would take money whenever she ran out, and when there was no money, she would sell the gold. By the 11th grade, Dung was no longer the good child she used to be, spending her days at nightclubs, drinking and smoking. However, no one in her family thought that way. No one believed that the once obedient girl had become a wild child and fallen astray. Dung's father was the most shocked when he found out his daughter was addicted and had to be taken to rehab at Binh Tru, Ho Chi Minh City. The man who spent his life braving the ocean waves never imagined he would face such a storm in his own family. He traveled year-round, never expecting that the child he trusted the most would be the first to leave his embrace for a life on the streets. Dung says that the rest of the story has already been covered by the media. Heartbroken from her first love, she worked as a seamstress in Lai Thu and met the older man who fathered Sang. It wasn't love, but a necessity for money. The man didn't know she was pregnant, and she never intended to tell him. Dung's addiction tormented her. Her repeated attempts to quit her addiction were unsuccessful, despite her parents constantly crying over her. The prolonged pain led the family into depression. Dung, addicted, escaped from Binh Duong and returned to Saigon, finding ways to earn money to satisfy her addiction. She didn't know she was pregnant until the pregnancy was too advanced. She only truly believed she was carrying a child when she went into labor. A doctor at Tu Du Hospital said that Dung was still high when she went into labor. The child, Sang, was born weak. When Pham Quang Sang was adopted by Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt at the Tam Binh Orphanage, Pham Tu Dung had no idea. She didn't even know if Sang was still alive or had passed away. They found my parents' house because, in my distress at the hospital, I wrote my real name and my parents' address. Otherwise, I wouldn't know anything about my child now. After many failed attempts to quit drugs, Dung, pained by her parents' constant tears, decided to follow a friend to Dam Market, Nha Trang, to cut all ties with drugs. Her friend, who was also part of the troubled group in the past, had a child, left her husband, and moved to Nha Trang to start over. Dung followed her, learning sewing and overlocking. She drowned her cravings in the ocean waves. Exhausted from playing in the sea, Dung would drag herself home, enduring 6 months until the addiction gradually subsided. I don't understand why my previous attempts to quit with all kinds of support failed, but this time I did it on my own. Back then, I was constantly tormented by the thought that I had been a terrible mother, and I couldn't continue like this. My child is now someone else's child. I couldn't keep my child, but maybe one day, my child will come back to visit me. If at that time I still looked like a drug addict, I would die with my eyes open. She lived quietly, trying to blend into life, to forget and not be questioned about who she was or how she had lived. After work, I would sometimes go out for ice cream or drinks with some women. Mostly, I watched TV. Then I went online to check the news. News wasn't that important to me. Mainly, I wanted to follow how Sang's life was going. Every time I saw the name Pax Thien, I would tremble. When I read that Angelina placed the national flag on my child's bed and hired a tutor to teach Sang Vietnamese, I was moved to tears. Seeing how well Angelina Jolie's family treated my child, I was both happy and sad. Happy because my child had a better life, but also sad, thinking if only I hadn't made those mistakes, if I hadn't abandoned my child, I wouldn't have to be sitting on the other side of the world watching my child's life like this. I wish I could turn back time. I would do everything to make it up to my child, Dung said tearfully. In November 2011, Angelina fulfilled her promise to Pax Thien, taking him back to visit his homeland as planned. Pax Thien had grown, becoming a hot boy in Hollywood. Meanwhile, Pham Tu Dung sat in a room that didn't belong to her, contemplative, longing to meet her child once to apologize. Mother was very wrong to abandon you at the hospital. But please forgive me, because I did it in a state of loss of control. If now, you need anything, I will come. And if you don't need me, it means you haven't forgiven me. I won't blame you, that's life, that's fate. No one gets to choose where they are born. For Pham Quang Sang, he didn't have the right to choose where he lived either. But fate chose for him a more fulfilling future. And no one knows what tomorrow will bring. Somewhere in this life, there's a mother waiting for him to grow up and come back to forgive her for the unforgivable mistake of abandoning her own child. Like distant roads, the white clouds will return. By then, her hair will have turned white like clouds.